Hey, what's up guys? So I have a little bit of an update to the Precision SM Pro Action Set. If you're a customer of that action set, then you've been emailed this little update. It's real simple. It's not, however, useless. This is a really cool little update. We've done this before, but I just wanted to include it in Precision SM because I think it's very, very powerful. And it can be, it's a good flexibility tool. And I'm going to explain that in just 1 second. Now, if you don't know about Precision SM, if you don't know about the action set, we have videos on that. Check it out. It is super cool. Absolutely love it. One of the most powerful action sort of layer stacks that we've ever made. Now, the bottom one's here, blend if. What they do is they control blend if. If you're not familiar with it, allow me to explain what blend if is. It is extremely flexible, but it allows you on the actions window, especially if you have it on button mode, it's going to allow you to quickly access blend if because it's not always the fastest thing. So what the heck is blend if? Well, let's explain by using a solid color adjustment layer. This is just for visualization. This is why I'm using an obnoxious bright red, right? So if you come here and double click the right side of your layer, you're going to open up the layer style. There's a lot happening in here, but the main thing when it comes to blend if is this underlying layer and current layer sliders. So underlying layer is probably the one most people are going to use. And if you take these nodes here on the left and the right, these dark and light nodes, and you move them, you can see that you can determine where that red will show, or rather where the underlying layer will show. If you hold down Alt or Option, you can split the node and blend it. See, super cool. Now, I'm only using a red adjustment layer, a red solid color adjustment layer because I want to show you what the function is doing. However, it's very useful for all kinds of things. And blend if, of course, can be used with any adjustment layer, and it can be used with any blank layer. So if you have and I say blank, but honestly, any pixel layer, there could be anything on here, and blend if can be used. Now, if you're familiar with blend if and use it all the time, you're probably pretty used to double clicking, opening it up and going. When you need to dial in the exact luminosity range, cool, do that for sure. But sometimes you want things set up quicker, even if you still make an adjustment. After that, you want it set up quicker, and that's what these are for. So let's say here's my adjustment layer, again, red for demonstration purposes, NBP blend if shadows deep. Tap it, boom. Blend if is set up to target the deepest shadows. And then there's regular shadows. You see how it just expands the range. Shadow sweep, meaning then it goes all the way from the left to the right. I'll just show you, double click. You see the blend goes all the way across. That's what I call sweep. And then there's the midtones. Midtones wide, simply a little bit wider. The highest of highlights, the regular highlights, and the highlight sweep. So for example, if you put this red out there and you think, I want to add red to the shadows in a cool way. So I changed the blend mode maybe to soft light. There it is, right? And in fact, I'll walk you through the whole step again. Let's say you think to yourself, I want to use a layer and add it to the shadows. I'm going to do the solid color again for visualization. You put the red out and you just immediately tap shadows, and there it is. And now you can change the blend mode if you wanted to, and then you can adjust the deeper ones, shadows, sweep, etc., etc. And you can always double click and adjust further if you need to, but at least the initial setup is done. And you know what? That can be so useful for so many things. If you come out here and add a photo filter, for example, warm it up, and you immediately put it in just on the midtones. There you go. See how fast that was? Very, very subtle. Probably can't see it on the video. Very subtle effect to add warmth to the midtones. See how fast that was. If we go to the curves and then choose shadows, and we immediately can brighten just the curves, right? So how is that different than let me put these away. How is that different than using these up here, which create an actual luminosity mask? For example, luminosity selection shadow. We've talked about that in other videos. You can come in here and create the exact mask you want, hit OK, and there's your mask. Well, that solid mask or that raster mask, for example, if I choose an adjustment layer, now I have a real mask. There's different reasons for this, okay? Sometimes you want a pixel-based luminosity mask, and sometimes blend if is exactly what will work for you. There's a lot of different reasons why, and I intend to make a video kind of explaining some examples as to why you might want an actual raster layer, a pixel layer, a luminosity mask, or why blend if might be better, and in some cases where one simply does not work for specific things. However, even if you don't, know off the top of your head why it may or may not work, you might run into it. You might think, well, that mask isn't working, or I want the flexibility. Sometimes, in fact, that's usually why someone would prefer blend if over a luminosity mask, is to have that flexibility. However, there are some cases where one or the other is required. We're going to go over that in another video, but we've added these blend if immediate options, so again, I'll do, I don't know what, how about a wild photo filter this time? We'll do a cyan and we'll go crazy on it. And now we can just go highlights. There you go. Now we've added cyan to the highlights. Oh, it's too much. How about just the brightest highlights? There we go. See that? See how fast that was, right? That's the whole point. Could I have done that with a luminosity mask? Absolutely, I could have. But sometimes we want that flexibility because we don't know if the range will work or not. So again, gives you options, but at the same time has some other technical reasons. So check that out. If you do grab Precision SM Pro Actions from our website today, like I said, they're not expensive. This is already included on it. But if you already are a customer, you've been emailed the update that has those. Real simple, but like I said, not to be overlooked because that's a very, very powerful function.